Concrete Encased High School Girl is a 1995 movie based on the true crime event involving a young woman named Junko Furuta. This movie came out 2 years before the movie Juvenile Crime I have previously reviewed. The story of Junko Furuta is about a young girl in Japan who was kidnapped by a group of underage boys and tortured to death. It's the most horrific story I've learned about in my life. What those boys put Junko through is beyond what I believe can ever be forgiven. Junko's own mother was allegedly committed after hearing what was done to her beloved daughter, a parent's nightmare. Concrete is the second of 2 Japanese movies based on this case. If I had to compare the two, I would say I preferred this one. I would list Juvenile Crime under an exploitation category, while this, while not well made, feels more like a really NC-17 rated Lifetime movie. The movie has a man as a narrator, almost like a host for one of those Dark Tales anthology shows. It lends a lot to the story in my opinion. Let me explain why exactly. I believe this story is more accurate to the Junko story and what happened in a timeline fashion. The narrator gives insights into the story. It doesn't go day by day exactly. It goes over the highlights of Junko's final days, but it slowly builds up. This is why it's the better of the two. There's a build-up here. When Junko is first kidnapped, she isn't tortured right away and is instead tricked into trusting her captors. The use of a narrator to describe how naive Junko is at this time helps us as the audience understand. Though the captivity isn't terrible at first, it soon turns sour for Junko. There is a scene in the movie where the boys think they are on drugs and beat and sexually assault Junko. This is when the abuse begins. There is a brother in the room just next door as this happens, who ignores the screams of the girl. The parents also hear the assault, and the father confronts the son, then wimps out. The abuse and rape continues, and by day 20, Junko is starving and begging for food. By day 25, Junko is too abused and starved for the boys to find attractive, and they stop raping her and only abuse her. The narrator tells us that the boys admitted in court they no longer saw her as human at this point. She was a burden, and they wanted her dead. Her suffering evoked no pity out of these monsters. This movie is quite sad, not so much an extreme horror movie. It's like watching a narrated based on true events reenactment on TV. And this movie is quite short and looks made for TV. The ending is very grim. The boys beat Junko to death and laugh. The narrator then goes over the horrifically light sentences the criminals received due to their young age. They took Junko's entire life away and barely had a fifth of that happen to them. Of course, they all committed more crimes after release. What's nice about this is it ends with writings by Junko.
生前10年後の自分という題で彼女はこんな作文を残しています。10年後の自分、東京のマンションで憧れの一人暮らしをしている。1989年1月4日、17歳の彼女が抱いたその夢は永遠に消えてしまったのです。
You always hear about what happens to her, not what she does. And with that, it shows Junko biking home as if she survived and was never abducted on her bike by those boys that night. I'd like to live in that world. If you can handle the subject material and you want to watch a movie on this specific subject, I would recommend this one. But I still am not happy that I watched it. Okay, so what was the most disturbing part? To me, there were no real gross out moments. The scenes weren't shot as gruesome as possible to make you gag. Instead, I'd say the hopelessness and sadness you feel watching is the disturbing part. The saddest scene was when Junko realized it was Christmas, just 9 days before she died, on January 4th, 1989. So yeah, check it out if this sounds good. I totally understand if anyone finds the subject material too disturbing, or even that something like what this poor girl went through shouldn't be on film. I don't know how I feel truly after watching that. Anyways, I traumatized myself so you don't have to. Bye.